Hey, what's up pups? It's JR, and as you can tell from the title of the video and the change in the usual tone of my voice, this video is going to be vastly different to my normal videos. The main notable thing is that this video is not going to be heavily comedy focused like 99% of my content. I could best describe this video as being more focused on horror. Not horror in the sense that I'm attempting to take advantage of creepy background pictures, audio, and screamer jump scares with the hopes of freaking out the viewer. And I'll preface this entire video by saying there will be no intentionally placed jump scares in this video. The most you'll get of that is me accidentally getting in a picture of something you have a phobia of, in which case I apologize. This is going to be horror focused in the sense that it's going to be focused on unsettling topics like that of the paranormal. To be entirely specific, I'm going to be talking about my personal experiences with ghosts, demons, and other paranormal activity. Thusly, I'll start off by saying that I personally do believe in ghosts, and if you don't, I would suggest clicking off this video or simply watch it, but keep an open mind. The idea of this video spawned, funnily enough, in the comments of a Markiplier video, where at the end of it, Mark left us with the would you rather question of have a ghost stalk you for the rest of your life, or have a demon stalk you for 3 days and then kill you. First off, I personally differentiate ghosts and demons, much like the question did, where ghosts are what are essentially normal people, or at most mischievous spirits. And demons are dark, evil entities that want nothing more than to harm and torment the living. I like the concept of the question, but seeing as how I don't count harmful entities as ghosts, the former choice was a no-brainer for me. So I took to the comments and shared my views and opinions on ghosts. I also later made a post on the subreddit r/Ghoststories, which I occasionally visit, where I basically just reposted the comment I made, but tweaked a few things here and there to better fit the format of a Reddit post instead of a YouTube comment. Since these stories are already in text form and I can just reread them, I'll start the video off by doing just that, before I get into the other stuff I have not made public and only told a few of my close friends about. I would also like to point out that these are not creepypastas, nor are they urban legends or rumors. Everything you hear is from my own personal experience, and I will fight to the death to say that these are 100% true. I said on livestream that I want to be able to pride myself as the most honest person on the internet, and I plan to stick to that. So, with that out of the way, let's get into the stories. The following is a direct paste of my post on the subreddit r/Ghoststories entitled, "My House is Haunted, and the Ghosts Seem Pretty Cool." So if you want, you can still find this exact post to read along if you want. My house is haunted. Whether you believe in ghosts or not is your deal. I personally do, but seeing as how you're here, I am assuming you do too. At this point, I don't even get scared whenever they mess with me or are watching me or something. It's actually kinda cool. Whenever I'm home alone, I still have someone to talk to, other than my dogs. The first time I interacted with one of the ghosts in my home was when I was dealing with the usual hygienic steps after taking a shower. Deodorant, brushing teeth, etc. After I had almost finished up, my toothbrush fell out of this little holder thing that suction cups to our mirror that only holds the head of the toothbrush. It's one of those things that you put the head in and close this little hatch thing behind it to keep the brush from falling out. The hatch was a little loose, so I just put it back in the holder and turned around to unlock the bathroom door. But it fell out again, this time landing further away from where it did before. This time, I put it back, but instead said, "If you really don't want that up there, knock it down again and I'll take the hint." Sure enough, whoever it was knocked it down again, this time taking the holder off of the mirror with it. So I just said, "Alright, I'll just leave this here then," and just set it on the counter. The most recent time I've interacted with one of the ghosts was when I saw the faint reflection of a woman, seemingly in her late 20s, early 30s, with short black hair in my monitor when I was playing Skyrim. I didn't freak out or turn around to see that nothing was there because she seemed to be content with whatever she was preoccupying herself with, whether it be watching me silently trying to spook me or simply watching me play. However, the most notable experience was when I would say I first conquered whatever fear of ghosts might have lingered in my mind at that point. I was heading out in the kitchen in the middle of the night to get a glass of soda, and because it was the middle of the night, the kitchen light was off. As I made my way over to the main light switch, I heard what sounded like something bumping into this big cardboard box we keep out there for empty soda cans. Jokingly, I asked, "Who's in the kitchen?" expecting one of my dogs to come say hi or hear a mouse scurry across the floor. But instead, I heard the voice of a man I didn't recognize calmly respond, "Me," as if he was expecting someone to come in and see what he was doing. But once again, I didn't freak out, and I just tried to wrap up the conversation so I could get back to whatever I was doing by saying, "Oh, alright. Well, it's kinda weird to just stand in the dark kitchen by yourself, don't you think?" He didn't respond, but I haven't heard anything coming from the kitchen in the middle of the night in a while, so I assume he agreed. The funny thing is, I've actually been making jokes that I think I'm a medium because of how often I interact with the ghosts in my home. At least once a week, I end up having a paranormal experience with either Skyrim lady or kitchen guy, but not in the same way I first did. I still don't know who it was that didn't want the toothbrush on the mirror. As far as I can tell, they are the only ones in my house. Either way, I'm not afraid of ghosts because, in all seriousness, you really shouldn't be. Ghosts are pretty much just normal people, and in my experience, not just what you see here, most of them seem pretty chill. It's demons that are the ones you have the right to be afraid of. And with that, the post ends. Before we move on, I'd like to make a few notes about this post. My experiences with Kitchen Guy were always something minor. The likes of unexplainable noises coming from the kitchen and dining room area of my house. But soon after I actually said something to him, the thing you saw in the post, I stopped hearing things and never really heard from him again. However, Skyrim Lady was a different case. She seemed to be aware of the fact that I knew she was there and had no problem with it. I would always end up seeing her out of the corner of my eye or in the reflection of something, like when I first met her. However, as time went on, I was actually able to see her normally. Well, as normally as someone could see a ghost. I couldn't see her in the same way I see another person, but I could very easily make out that she was there. From what I could tell, she wore what looked like a white blouse and a long black or dark blue skirt that reached just under her kneecaps. It was such a common thing for me to see her that I actually started talking with her, holding real, albeit simple, conversations. And it was through these conversations that I found out her name was Maria. I didn't try to get information about her too often, so all I could really gather about Maria was her name and the interesting fact that she apparently knew she was a ghost. Like I said, while I was able to converse with her, our conversations were very simple. I would make a joke about her spooking me or mention the fact that I knew she was there, and she would reply with something subtle like a or other one-word terms of acknowledgement. At first, I was kind of unsettled whenever I felt like someone was watching me, and I occasionally jumped whenever I saw Maria when I wasn't expecting her. But as time went on, it just kind of became a normal thing to see her watching me or whatever I was doing. At one point, I woke up at around 4 in the morning because I felt like someone was in the room with me, and sure enough, when I opened my eyes, Maria was crouched or kneeling at the side of my bed watching me. She was about 1.5 to 2 feet away from my face, using my love seat near my bed as reference. Needless to say, I jumped a little, as anyone would if you opened your eyes after waking up to have someone staring back at you. But I simply calmly said that I was trying to sleep and would appreciate it if she didn't watch me while I slept. When I actually woke up at a reasonable time, my mom had come into the room to grab some dirty laundry or something and asked if I slept well. I made a joke about Maria watching me while I slept. She asked who Maria was, I informed her, and she walked out with a "well, I'll be damned." My mom is hugely into ghost stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised if she believed me. However, I didn't really convey the fact that I was perfectly okay with having Maria around, because a couple days later, my mom offered to let me use this lamp that was made from a chunk of Himalayan salt rock that supposedly helps clear the air of things like electromagnetic anomalies and ward off abnormal energy. She made a joke when she gave it to me that it would help keep Maria away, to which I replied, "Who said I wanted to keep her away?" My mom seemed to think the whole thing about electromagnetic anomalies and whatnot was probably superstitious wumbo-jumbo from the tone of her voice when she said what she did. So she still gave it to me to put in my room, as I sleep better whenever I have some sort of dim light in my room. I guess you could refer to it as a nightlight, but I typically just light a candle or something to make sure my room isn't completely pitch black. I'm not nyctophobic in any way. I have no problem with the dark itself. But all my life, I've lived with a decent amount of paranoia. So being able to see what's in my room whenever my paranoia chooses to act up makes it easier for me to unwind and get back to sleep. So anyway, anecdote aside, I put the salt lamp in my room and had it on for a good few nights before giving it back to my mom. However, I gave it back to her because I am 99% sure that something about it was giving me a headache whenever it was on. It wasn't something like it was too bright or anything. It even had a dimmer switch that I had on the lowest setting so I could see, but my room was still decently dark at night. All I know is that so long as that lamp was turned on in my room, I would get a pretty notable headache. So I figured there was something to that lamp, but I didn't think too much of it. I just gave it back to my mom, joking about it being demon magic. However, at this point, I'm starting to think that there was something to that whole mumbo-jumbo about clearing out electromagnetic anomalies and abnormal energy and whatnot, because ever since I had that lamp in my room for a few days, I haven't seen or heard from Maria once. Sure, my chance of waking up to a ghost watching me sleep went down by a good 80%, but it kinda sucks that I haven't seen her because it was pretty cool having her around. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about those specific experiences, but there are a few other things I'd like to talk about. However, I don't want this to be a 2-hour-long video, so I'm gonna end this here. But if you enjoy this video and would like to hear more of the paranormal experiences I've had, drop a like and let me know in the comments. If it intrigues you more, the other two main topics I'd like to talk about involve my encounter with what I believe to be a demon, and a recurring nightmare I've had for years that might have had more to it than meets the eye. So if you'd like to hear about those, you know what to do. But for now, if you enjoyed this video, consider dropping it a like, and make sure to hit that subscribe button to become a pup if you haven't already. Also, if you want to support me and the channel, consider becoming a patron for as little as $1 a month. My name's JR, and I'll see you guys in the next one.